Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of City Skylines. Where last episode we built this cool looking mountain observatory with a national park behind it. Or not a national park, a nature reserve. And some hotels, obviously. We also built this cool little cable cart going all the way down mountain and into a little commercial area. That is where we left off last time. This episode though, I really don't have any big plans for this episode, so we'll see how it goes. The first thing I want to do though is I want to continue with extending our population. We are at 47,000. A couple of episodes ago we told ourselves we had to get to 60,000 at least, and I think we have to go a little bit over that as well, because we have again upped the number of jobs in the city by building these commercial areas, adding stuff like these train stations. So there are again plenty of jobs that have been added. We did keep up a little bit with residential, but yeah, there are way too many jobs in this city and way too few workers. So that is what we are going to be focusing on today. And I thought this little area over here, this could be a cool little area. Now I don't want to go too high building this little area, but I also don't want to use only low density for this area. I think we are in the middle of the main city right now and we need more apartment buildings, more, not skyscrapers, but high rises to accommodate for the number of people that we need. This would also be a cool little spot for some Brooklyn and Queens architecture buildings. So we'll probably plop those in as well. This over here, like I said, we're going to do the same that we did with this tower. We're going to take skyscraper towers and we're going to be converting them into residential buildings so that we can, grow our population much more quickly. So yeah, that is the first part of the plan for today. Not much to it, but plenty of things to do. So yeah, let's get started. good progress made here in the last couple of hours. I decided to keep building on this side of the map. After I put down a couple of these Brooklyn and Queens types buildings, I decided to stay on this side of the map, expand the area with these types of buildings a little bit, not too much though. Don't want it to become too one-sided, so after a couple of blocks of that, I added some more high density eco buildings, and we made a cool little neighborhood over here alongside the railroad tracks. It looks a little bit as if, like, you know, this is the downtown area with really high buildings, then it goes down a little bit because, you know, outside the city, land value goes down, less people want to live here. Then over here it gets higher again, and I think that is because when you take a look at the land, the rail curves right around this little neighborhood. So I think these were cheap places to build, and investors and project developers, they took advantage of that by building some more high residential buildings over here, high density, high rise, that's the word I was looking for, high rises. And then over here I added a little pedestrian area. I really wanted a place to add this Arc de Triomphe. I tried many different ways to get it inside the roundabout, but nothing that I did really worked the way I wanted it to. Also, it was really difficult to get people to get into the roundabout without messing up the traffic on the roundabout. So I think this is going to stay empty for now. Maybe if I can find a cool prop on the workshop that can fit in here, I will do that. But a functional building, I don't think is going to work in here. And then over here on this arm of the pedestrian area, I built a whole lot of these wall-to-wall residential buildings. I wanted it to feel a little cramped, a little stuffed. You know, there isn't a whole lot of room between the railroad and the highway, but this would be a desirable place to live for people, especially because the road itself is pedestrian, so no cars on the road. And then you are very close to the highway exit and entrance, and you are very close to the railroad connection over here. So for people working in the city but don't want to pay the prices of the city, this would be an excellent location to live. It's a little bit, you know, less valuable because you're so close to the railroad and to the highway. You'll probably have a little bit of noise complaints, especially those living on this side. But the fact that you can, you know, just walk out your apartment, cross the street, hop on a train and go to work, I think that is a very big plus for living here indeed. And now that we have built this, we can see we came pretty close to over here to Grove Hills. So this already doesn't feel as isolated anymore. Still pretty isolated, but I think once we build over here as well, maybe we should continue this area over here a little bit also. That way it isn't isolated at all anymore. Maybe we could even do a bridge over the highway. So yeah, that is progress for the last couple of hours on my end. I added in lots of parking, of course, lots of parks. Even added in a little miniature park over here. So yeah, I did use a couple of the skyscraper pack buildings, but I'm still not that happy with how all of those look. I mean, some of them look pretty cool. This one is pretty awesome. It's pretty narrow, and it does cast a reasonably large shadow on this entire bird and bee heaven, but that's only on this time of the day. I think in the afternoon, yeah, in the afternoon we have shadow of the other building. In the morning we have sun. Yeah, the birds and bees, they can live there even with that amount of shadow. So yeah, and then on this side, of course, I also added some Brooklyn and Queens apartment style buildings. I detailed the above ground metro station a little bit, added a whole lot of parking spaces, added some bus stops, added some recycling as well, because I don't think we have a lot of that on this side of the city, but we do have the recycling monument built. I don't know which one it is, this one, the ultimate recycling plant. So garbage shouldn't be an issue anymore in the city. And next up, what I want to do is I want to build the next monument. I want to go ahead and build the Eden Project. I know the Eden Project gives us basically unlimited land value, but the way it works right now is when I place down buildings, I often use the menu down here to downgrade them to level 1 or level 2 right after I built them, and then once I finish the neighborhood, they all level up to level 5 anyway again. So this one, for instance, just needs a little bit more education. These ones are already back at level 5. These ones are almost at level 5, a little bit more education. So yeah, it doesn't really have any impact. The only thing that it has an impact on is that now when I place a building, I would no longer have to downgrade it to level 1 or 2 only for it to level up to level 5 again anyway. So this one we're going to build somewhere, and then I'm going to continue building some of the skyscrapers. Now we do have other skyscrapers other than those from the skyscraper pack. This one, for instance, this is an apartment complex, and it's from the Heart of Korea content creator pack. This looks beautiful. I think this one would fit in very nicely somewhere around here, not on this main road, but a little bit set back, and then use the rest of this area on this block to build a park around it. There are a couple of other big buildings from other content creator packs that I want to use. This R&D center, for instance, looks absolutely beautiful. This square center looks absolutely beautiful. And then of course we have the hotels. I really want to use this hotel somewhere here in the city, or this one. Not quite sure yet. Maybe one can be used over here somewhere. Obviously we need to use, where is it? We have some of these bigger shopping areas, department stores. This one, for instance, this one we absolutely need to put down somewhere. I'm thinking right around in the middle here, so people from both Amity Square and Beechwood can come over here and visit it. Maybe make a nice little area out of it with some parking and some other department stores that would fit in with this one. So yeah, we still have plenty of buildings to build, plenty of stuff to do still. I don't think we're going to finish the main part of Beechwood today. That's going to be an awful lot of work, but we are going to slowly but surely fill in the rest of the blanks over here. And yeah, once that is done, I think we have a very nice looking main island. Also, I did remove the hill over here. There was a hill over here, if you remember, where the subway went underground. I did remove it because I thought it was a little bit too awkward in the center of the city. You know, with land values at a premium around here, people building all the way up just to get as much of the land as possible. I don't think they would have kept a little hill like that in the middle of the city, being unable to build anything on it. So I leveled it, and I think that was the right call. I am going to keep these two hills though, because land value over here would be lower anyway, and this would be less desirable land than anywhere in Amity Square or in Beechwood. So yeah, excellent. Other than that, I did a little bit more on the public transit. I added some more subway lines, if I can find the right button. As you can see, we added a little bit more of a connection also towards the pedestrian area, and I added a cross station, cross line in over here to act as a more local line over here. And then this one is going to be this one's connected up there, so maybe this one will connect up over here as well. I'm not quite sure about that. This one, I think we're going to connect up to this line that goes all the way down to the university, but that is something that I will do probably at the very end of the build. So if you take a look at our population, we are at 57,700, which is nice. It's a big jump forward. I think we were less than 50,000 before we started. Looking at the worker distribution, we did add a couple of more jobs, but we also added a whole lot more workers. So we are now at almost 19,000 workers out of 31,000 jobs, which is better than it was, but still not great. So we are going to continue adding as much residential as possible, but every time we add residential, we have to add a little bit of commercial and a little, some schools, some hospitals, some fire stations. So we will be adding jobs along adding more residents as well, but hey, there's nothing we can do about that. Hopefully we'll add more residents than jobs. So next up, a couple of more unique buildings, a couple more expansions to do over here. So let's get to it. Alright, short little time lapse there, but I think we made some pretty decent progress. If we take a look at this side of the city, we can see that the beachfront is now entirely filled in. We added these double tower skyscrapers over here. Added a couple more skyscrapers on this side. We added the Eden project, which now causes us to have perfect land value all around the map. There's just a little hint of blue on this side, but for the rest it's all green and bright green. So no need to worry about land value anymore, which should help a little bit with our budget, but looking at the budget, we're still losing 265,000 a week, so maybe not. Also, the beach over here, they're not visible from a distance, but we added lots of these parasols and chairs and stuff for people to do, and people are now actually walking across the beach and dogs walking across the beach, so that is nice. And then I added a couple more residential buildings. Also added a couple of these office buildings that I converted into residential buildings. So yeah, all in all, I think we are working towards a pretty nice looking skyline in City Skylines. Next up to do over here, I think most of this side between these two roads is going to be low to medium density. We'll add a couple more skyscrapers over here on this side just to fill out the skyline a little bit more. But I think that is going to be it for this part of the city, and then we can continue and then we can focus on this part over here. But for the next episode, I think it is time to step away from the city for a little bit and focus on some other projects. I have some ideas for projects that we can do. Also, I haven't looked at the traffic in this city for a long time. And I'm actually dreading to go back and look at the older sections. That's something we might do in the next episode, do some traffic management. See if our public transport is still up to date in all locations. As I can see here, for instance, this is the train station. The parking lot is completely full. This parking lot is completely full. There are still cars driving up and down the parking lot. There are so many people coming out of the train station. Look how much people are waiting on the train station. That's absolutely ridiculous. There's a little bit of a train traffic jam. Not much, but it's there. So, yeah, I think those are things that we need to take a look at in the upcoming episodes. Other than that, yeah, I have a couple of projects in mind that we can build on before we continue our main city on that side of the main island. And yeah, this is going to be it for today. I think we did pretty decent progress, as I said. We still have a whole lot of workers that we need to add, although it's less than 10,000 now. So we're getting there. We're slowly getting there. We still need 9,000 more workers. Let's say we have a 10% unemployment rate, so that means we need to go up to 28. So we only need 6,000 more workers in the city. So that would mean probably 10,000 more people or so. So yeah, I think that is pretty doable in the next couple of episodes. But this is going to be it for today. I want to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye bye!